All right, good afternoon, students. Thank you so much for joining us for our fall speaker series sponsored by PIMCO Insurance. I'm so excited for Washington Business Week to bring you one of our speakers, Carmen Goers. She has almost 30 years in the banking industry, and we have some amazing questions and conversations for Carmen. So let's go ahead and get started. Carmen is going to talk to you for a little bit, and then we're going to ask some of your questions. So Carmen, take it away.
So I am Carmen Goers. I'm Vice President, Commercial Lending Officer with Heritage Bank. I've been in banking since actually I started in high school as an intern at what was old Security Pacific back in California. It was a fun job. It was an easy job. And ironically, as I look back, I was student body treasurer, class treasurer over the years. And I'm a little bit of a nerd with numbers. I love the nuance of it. However, coming through banking, over these many decades, we were military, so we lived overseas, and I worked in finance, and those skills just kind of translated easily for me in different areas. And numbers can be intimidating to some people. For me, it's just a jigsaw puzzle that you put together. In that vein, as I've being in the military, or military spouse, I should say, it was always known that on any military base, no matter how far out in the boonies you might be, there's a bank, there's a hospital, and there's a school. So consequently, I stayed in banking for a long time. There's tons of different jobs besides handling money. When I was based in Louisiana, we actually had, before armored cars were necessary all the way, he literally just drove around the branches, picking up cash, dropping off coin, picking up papers. I worked for a large national bank who has horses, so we have equestrian riders as well as stable people. There's always marketing within banking. There's a lot of different areas within our industry that are non-numbers related. And right now, I pretty much sell money. That's what I do. So it's not about calculating things so much, but negotiating, pricing, assessing the risk of the transaction, and finding a reasonable solution. Sometimes the solution is not us, and that's okay. But know what we do well is my job to do. So kind of a quick down and dirty.
That is awesome. So Carmen, you and I know each other through community service. Can you talk about the role in the banking industry and community service and how you serve and network with people?
Great, yeah, good question. I actually, around 2001, we moved to Washington in 2000. Around 2002, I think 2003, one of my managers told me that I need to get a mentor and get engaged in the community, because I wasn't from here and was raising my daughters at the time who were in junior high at that time. And I started off not knowing where to begin at all. I have done volunteer work for different organizations between my church, between my girls' athletics, and this is the first time I joined a board and not knowing what to do. But mentors helped me figure it out, get some reading, get some understanding, and so I've been serving on boards consistently now since about 2005 on that side. I've served in different areas, in different types of organizations. It's really finding what you love to do and using your skills and your talents in that area. Andrea, one of the things you told me several years ago is we got time, talent, and treasure. What are you going to do with those things? And so my talents of talking to people and introducing them to organizations that meet the need of a community or a service has become a talent of mine. Didn't know, just a gig gabber, it works out. So.
Awesome. So some of our students have submitted some questions. And so we have some general questions, which you're going to hear all of our speakers answer. And then we also have industry related questions. So I'm going to start with our general questions. So Carmen, is anything non-negotiable for you as a leader?
For me as a leader, my non-negotiables are really around respect, and it really is around respect. I can't always pick my team. I can't always pick my clients, but how we speak to one another and address each other is important to me. time, I've had meetings as late as 8 p.m., as early as 7 a.m. So I've traveled at one point. Alaska and Oregon were part of my territories. I traveled there. Um, I do, for me, I do what I know, and I try to learn new things every year, new industries. And so, I financed the church, and I financed an adult entertainment when I was in California. So it's kind of a depth and breadth to that.
Oh, very good. What is the most important part of your whole business journey?
The most important part is how you treat people. I think it resonates today more than ever before. Was blessed to be born with 2 great grandmothers, all my grandparents, a slew of uncles, 30 cousins, but I'm an only child, so I have my own hovel at home to come back to. And it's amazing that when a friend calls or someone calls, right now, I'm every day I try to just call and check on somebody, just haven't talked to you in a while, making sure you're good. How you treat people, because at the end of the day, when the saying is it's the moments the memories you make in that, and so I think the most part is treating people correctly.
Definitely. I know that people will always forget your words, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. And that's something that our students definitely should remember throughout. You can make mistakes in verbal. I'm doing it right now, but
yes.
How you make people feel, that's what's important. So being that great person.
Well, and as I'm high schoolers, correct? High schoolers. You start focusing on whether it's your athletics or your grades, or you want to be valedictorian, you want to be star athlete, and you have to monitor how you deal with other relationships, because it's going to cost you in that. Just how you manage that, it becomes a really big tool in how you become successful in life, in managing your life going forward, I should say.
Definitely. All right, so let's talk about failures. So what were your greatest professional failures, and what did that teach you?
So first professional failure that most of us have known is that reply all button. Watch it carefully. You do not want to just off the cuff send reply alls to anything. I quickly got a response back from senior leadership, didn't know they were on the email stream, and had a talking to about my comments and how it'd been better served to pick up the phone or go to the person's office and have that. So again, going back to how you treat people is important. What I also learned is not taking risks. So because we were a military family, because we moved around a lot, I didn't take a lot of, I didn't do some stretch goals. I really focused on keeping the family and the home really squared away back then. And just in the last maybe 5 to 7 years, I've started taking a little bit more risk and trying things I haven't tried before, doing things I haven't done before. Things are very uncomfortable. Even personally, like with COVID, my husband's like, let's go camping. I'm like, I'm not a camper. And we're out, kayaking and camping, and got hiking boots and all that good stuff for the outdoors. So doing things you haven't done before and taking some risks. Not taking a risk was a professional failure, but I could have gone further had I.
That is great advice to our students, to always challenge yourself and to go out on that limb. Mm-hmm. So do you need to go to college to work in banking?
No, you don't need to go to college to work in banking. Depending how you move up and what you decide to do, you will need to further your skills on that side. If you're going into leadership and management, you'll need to fulfill that. Most banks have some type of program where while you're working, they will pick up some tuition. And if you want to get a master's in banking, they will recommend and actually cover that cost for you if you want to go to that level. But there's a lot of areas where you don't need a college degree to function and be successful, and even move into a VP or a senior vice president status.
Oh, very good. So what would a student do right now? Is there an age limit on what is an entry-level job at a bank, and what do you need to be qualified to do that?
Yes. So entry level, the most obvious one are tellers. They're forward-facing customer positions. You know, good oral and good communication skills. Bless you. Good communication is important. Right now we have automated cash counting machines, so you don't have to even count the cash per se too much. It's about being detail oriented. I believe you can come in as 17 or 18. There's also back office jobs, which are documentation, servicing our central cash vault, sorting money and coins and things of that nature. So depending on where you are in the city is where different banks have different hubs. Even the credit unions have those different types of hubs. So looking for internships is always great.
Very good. So a student could actually start right now and then work their way through the field and be supported by their employer in the banking industry, right?
Yes, I started out as a teller back in 1980. Well, actually, no, I started way back in high school in the mid 80s in our back office. And even though I may have left banking or moved around, I was able to transfer those skills. So yeah, I didn't get my degree until I was in my 30s.
Wow. Wow, that's
So,
great news for our students for on-the-job training.
yeah, with no loans.
That's right. So did you do any specific extracurricular activities in high school to prepare you for your job now?
So one of my mentors in high school, and I say mentor, but it was a coach, said it's not about the actual thing you're looking to do. So we had classmates that wanted to be a surgeon, that wanted to be a pilot, that wanted to, one of my high school alums was a professional athlete. It's about knowing how to get transferable skills, communicate, articulate, critical thinking. And so I was part of, back then, Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA. I don't know if it's still around or not.
It is.
And so those were the things that we worked on, were how do you become a critical thinker? That was one of the keys for me. I had no plans to stay in banking. It was really, okay, while we move around, I'll do banking. I interned at IBM, which would have been the Apple of today or the Microsoft of today, thinking I would be an engineer. And then I was going to be an accountant. And my personality didn't warrant me being in the office. It warranted. so, you know, I moved around a little bit trying to figure out where I like to be.
That is fantastic and leads into our next question of what made you qualified to work in the industry? I'm guessing it's a little bit of all of these different categories our students picked. Is it your education, your work experience, or your professional and personal connections?
Yes, it's a little bit of everything. So I've been in lending now for just over 10, 12 years. Prior to that, I was a supervisor of a servicing. So I managed, like when your loan gets approved and someone has to send you the billing and send you the documents and you buy a car, you need the title back and forth. I managed that department. And we were a small bank and we were acquired by a larger bank. And my CEO says, you'd be great as a lender. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to analyze. I don't know the analytics of it. I don't know. He says, we can teach you that. What we can't teach you is how to be engaging and ask questions and be interactive. And that we can't teach you that part. So they took me and I got a buddy banker, what we're called back then, buddy banker, who showed me the ropes, went to some classes, paid attention, went back to those same classes and took them again because some of it didn't stick. And then got another mentor that was a little further along the line and kept moving through. And I remember my previous boss, team lead, I would literally walk into her office with, I don't know what to do with it, and spew them out. And she would calmly just kind of walk me through, here's what we're looking for. I would gather all this information and didn't know how to put it together. The puzzle was overwhelming to me. And so now, having done it for so many years, I reach back to younger bankers and say, let's try something, an industry you don't know, and we'll figure it out. And they're like, how do you, because you can't Google everything. You have to ask questions and no one wants to look stupid. So one of my beautiful points is I don't mind looking like I don't know. I'm like, that's not clear to me. And just the way you say it, people respect it, like, okay, and they will answer your questions like most of us do without judgment to you. So
that is so important to learn and understand, students, that people that engage with you, they want to help you and they want to talk to you and they want to lift you up. So never be afraid to reach out to those. It brings up another question that I know that we haven't prepared for, Carmen, but the mentor-mentee relationship, how would a high school student, or how would they approach getting a mentor? How would you do that?
Yeah. It's easier than it sounds, but harder to facilitate. So you have to know what you want from your mentor and what you bring to the table as a mentee. So like I said, I have some mentees, and I often mentor, and I always tend to have a mentor. When I approach someone to be my mentor, it's someone who has been where I want to go and has been around the corner I cannot see. And it's amazing to me. And they've been of different demographics than me, and sometimes it's the same. So I've had older Caucasian males, I've had younger Hispanic women that have been places I haven't gone. And what did you see? And it's amazing sometimes when I think, okay, I need to go get my master's degree, right? They're like, no, you don't. Don't waste your time or your money. You have the skills. The paper won't give you any more to that. So let's work on relationships and these other skill sets. When someone approached me to be their mentor, they were looking to get into banking, and I knew I knew a friend of their aunts or somebody. It was like a distant connection, and so we've been working, and it's about the mentee decides how frequently do you want to call, because you lead the conversation. It's not me coming to you and saying, oh, hey, I have this great job, apply for it, and I help you walk you through. It's the mentee saying, hey, I want to challenge myself over here. What should I look for? Do you know someone, or how can I help build that relationship? And we all at any age should have someone behind us and someone in front of us that we're kind of pulling along to. So if you're in high school and a junior hire, if you're an athlete, you look for those younger players and help them. If you're, and then look up to the college, everything moves a little bit faster, and the transitions are what, build relationships.
That's great advice for our students.
Yeah.
So now let's go on to the industry specific questions that our students have given us. And so here's a great question. If I'm bad at math, should I go into the banking industry?
Yes, you can. Here's why I say that. At this point, I don't always touch the numbers. I know what they mean, and I can do them. I have someone else that does the analysis for me when I don't have time. My job right now is sales. I go out there and see who needs to buy money. Can I fit the parameters? And that's kind of the crux of my job. So it's a lot of public relations. It's a lot of here's what we as Heritage Bank will do, and knowing what my company is comfortable with and finding the match in the market. So it's a lot of sales. Since I love math, I'm able to serve as treasurer on different organizations because it's a talent and a gift that I enjoy doing on that side. But again, we have marketing people who just create programs and the marketing pieces that we see, the commercials. Like right now, my favorite commercial in COVID is the Fred Meyer commercial where they're going low, 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 low. That to me just cracks me up. That's someone's brilliant idea. And it has nothing to do with math, or even the skater chick is written in a different cryptic, slang. So yeah, we have the same thing in banking.
Great. So lots of different industries you can get into with banking. So that is awesome. How about technical advancements? What technical advancements has your bank implemented in the recent years?
So banking has been a lot of handshakes. We're not shaking hands today. So we do a lot of DocuSign, which is a remote electronic signing. For banking, a lot of the regulation revolves around knowing who your customer is, knowing who's getting the money, where the money's going, and that always happened mostly in person. So now we have to do different authentication remotely to make those things happen. As I mentioned, our tellers aren't putting cash on the table because very few people bring cash in or move cash. So we have literally a cash counting machine that does most of that, your ATM machines. automated teller machines is what they stood for. So there's technology that comes, our online department in the back end, which is not customer facing, making sure you can, snap your check, move your money back and forth, and do a lot of things remotely. That's the whole division. I don't know where those people sit. I've never seen them, but we get little updates saying, hey, there's a new feature, there's a new this. You can link that together. Venmo, moving things around. So yeah, the technology has really come in the back end for reducing the need to go into the branch itself.
That's great. So this probably is the same along the lines of question. So what does your bank specifically do to stay competitive in the industry?
Yes, it's how we do what we do. So we try to very much be centric to our communities that we're serving and in. So we're encouraged, prompted, sometimes forced to be a part of the community. For me, that's been being part of the chamber, as you're aware, being part of government affairs. One of the goals many people will have is, how do you make yourself valuable and be a value add to others that you're looking to work with? For me, it's been in government affairs. So knowing that, hey, there's a LID tax coming down, we need to go talk to city council about that. Knowing that something coming from the state, and they need to hear from the business community, and connecting that so that people aren't sitting there shocked and awed and how to make this happen. Being that connector has been what I've done to be competitive in the industry. And my bank encourages us to find that for each of our different markets that we serve.
So it sounds like you have a lot of fun as a banker, but mainly a lot in the community and helping other people.
It is money and finances. I heard this person one time said they talked to 30 different bankers before they got approved for a loan. Most of us can't take that much rejection.
No.
It's exhausting. It's emotional. It's devastating for the loan. But when I go with the customer and say, here's why I can't do it, here's what you need, here's what bankers are looking for, instead, not just a no, which would be fast and easy and move on, but here's what we're looking for. And I don't want to put you worse off by giving you the loan here when I could see a gap that's going to happen in 9 months to 18 months. Then they can go forward with more knowledge and work it, because they're great at whatever they're creating or manufacturing or producing or serving, but the numbers are always that, wonky part. So I use my skills to be an entrepreneur, a full entrepreneur. It takes a lot of guts and ambition and risk taking and seeing things that aren't there and making something happen. And we need those partners that come along and help us with marketing and banking and finance to let you soar. It's a team, a village.
That is fantastic. It must be so rewarding to be part of that team and that village for so many businesses that you interact with in the banking industry.
It is.
Right. So what advice would you give someone who wants to enter the banking industry?
Well, we get all the holidays off, which is, we just took Indigenous People, Columbus Day, we've got Veterans Day coming up pretty soon. So everything you get in high school, you still get in the banking field, just FYI. That's always a fun part for me. You're going to work, I'm off, it's a holiday, Going into banking, it's you're really serving your community. And so it's important that we have people that can be financially responsible and fiscally healthy to help our community rise. When COVID hit and they rolled out the Payment Protection Program, the PPP, it was up to bankers to get through those loan packages quickly to get that money into our clients' hands. And to tell you how fast we had to move, it was a sprint. On an average year, I do about maybe 15 to 20 transactions, 20 deals, 20 separate deals. In the 6 weeks, I did 65.
Wow.
So yeah, and that every dollar that you process through is helping them to fund and cover families and in our community. And so you're working with that mindset along. So you're serving your community in a different way, and that's unique. But we don't work weekends most of the time.
Sounds so
and don't work nights. Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah.
So last question, formal question we have from our students is, as a high schooler, Where should I focus my education and professional goals if I want to be in banking?
If you want to be in banking, or really, for me, the strong thing is that critical thinking. How do you relate to people? How do you be part of a team solving a problem? How do I work this? If you're not good at written communication, improve that. If you're not good at oral communication, actually, and people find this shocking, I am an introvert. I could sit home with a book for 3 weeks and be happy as a clam. But I get up every day and I go, and no, they're like, no, you talk a lot. I'm like, I work to engage. I work to learn how to ask questions about people, have active listening skills, which, Andrew, that takes skill to learn, and be patient. Those soft skills will really take you far. What I hear from employers, that my customers, is they don't care if you don't know how to hammer or use a certain tool. They will teach you that. They want someone with a good work ethic and who has critical thinking and can learn. And that will take you very far, with or without a college degree or a technical degree. There's a lot to be said there.
That is awesome. Sounds like an amazing industry for our students to grow and learn about. That is the last of our questions. Carmen, do you have any last advice for our students?
I'm a mother of 4 adult daughters, a grandmother to 4 lovely little grandchildren. And the biggest thing I can say as a parent and as a part of the community is, we want you to do what you love to do and find a way to make an income that can support your lifestyle to the level that you're comfortable with. So if you're a gamer and you like to code, we need coding for, even in banking, you need coding for the applications on our smartphones, things that we haven't seen today. So instead of trying to put a square peg in a round hole, what do you love to do? If you love to sketch and art, even in banking, we need artists to make our platforms look nice and presentable. If I write a letter, I'm just like, hey, Andrea, what time is lunch? As opposed to, hey, how are you doing? How's things going? What can we meet? Is this a good time for you? There's all those different aspects that can work, that we need to work with, that are kind of soft skills, but they will really take you far. And so I just like to encourage young people to, try a lot of different things. If you're a gamer and you're doing one thing, try something a little bit different. It sparks your creativity, and take those risks now, because you can rebound from no risk. No failure is fatal, So take those risks, try something, and do what you really love to do, and you'll find a way. And what seems so easy to you is difficult for some of us, across the board. So.
Definitely, such a great advice. And students, I want to repeat what Carmen just said. I just wrote it down, but just to remember, going through life, again, Carmen's words: no risk is fatal.
Yeah.
Go and enjoy your life, and find your passion in an industry. And thank you so much to Carmen Goers for being part of our fall speaker series. And thank you to PEMCO Insurance for sponsoring this. I hope you enjoyed it, and look for the next speaker series next week. Thank you.
Thank you.